ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that the gentle hum of holiday cheer filled the air as Willow enthusiastically discussed her plans with Nina. She spoke with warmth about including Drew and his daughter, Scout, in their Christmas celebrations. To Willow, this was the essence of the season: family, forgiveness, and finding joy together. But her words hit a wall of resistance. Nina's expression darkened, her brows knitting in concern. "Willow," she said cautiously, her voice betraying unease, "I know your heart is in the right place, but Drew isn't the man you think he is." Willow tilted her head, confused by the edge in her mother's tone. "Drew's been nothing but kind to me. He's had a rough time, and I don't see the harm in offering him some holiday warmth." Nina sighed, clearly struggling with how much to say. She knew things about Drew that Willow didn't, things that could complicate this gesture of goodwill. But Nina couldn't bring herself to dampen her daughter's festive spirit entirely. "Just promise me you'll keep an eye on him," Nina urged, her voice softening. Willow, though touched by her mother's concern, wasn't convinced. "It's Christmas, Mom. Everyone deserves to feel like they belong," she replied, her determination unwavering. Meanwhile, back at the Quartermaine mansion, the holiday preparations were anything but peaceful. Jason, unused to the chaos of living in a house filled with clashing personalities, found refuge in the kitchen. He leaned against the counter, savoring the rare moment of solitude, when Sasha walked in. She looked frazzled, her usually poised demeanor replaced with visible stress. "Let me guess," Jason said dryly, "the Quartermaine madness got to you too?" Sasha managed a small smile. "How does anyone survive this circus?" Jason chuckled, a rare sound from him. "You don't. You just adapt." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, surprising them both. Sasha opened up about her struggles to fit in, her voice tinged with vulnerability. Jason, in turn, shared stories of his own awkward moments in the mansion. As they talked, the tension between them eased, replaced by a growing sense of camaraderie. For the first time in days, Sasha felt like she could breathe. But outside the cozy bubble of the kitchen, the atmosphere remained tense. Tracy, ever the gatekeeper of Quartermaine affairs, intercepted Marty at the door. The sight of him instantly set her on edge. "Well, if it isn't the infamous Martin Gray," she drawled, arms crossed and eyes sharp. Marty forced a polite smile, but Tracy's pointed gaze made him squirm. Their last encounter had been a disaster, thanks to Tracy's meddling with Marty's ex-wife, Blair Kramer. And now, she was determined to unearth whatever new scheme he was involved in. "Why are you here, Marty?" Tracy demanded. "And don't bother lying, I'll see right through it." Marty hesitated, acutely aware that Tracy's suspicions weren't entirely unfounded. Would she discover that Nina had secretly hired him as Willow's divorce attorney? And if so, what would she do with that information? As the Quartermaine drama simmered, another storm was brewing across town. At the boxing gym, Michael unleashed his frustrations on the punching bag. His fists flew with a fury that mirrored the turmoil in his heart. Chase watched from the sidelines, his concern growing with each punch. "Michael," Chase said finally, "you're going to hurt yourself." Michael paused, his chest heaving as he caught his breath. "He deserves it, Chase. Drew destroyed my marriage, and I'm not going to let him get away with it." Chase frowned. "Revenge isn't the answer. You're better than this." But Michael wasn't so sure. His anger burned too hot to be extinguished by reason. As he returned to his punches, Chase could only hope that his friend would find a healthier way to cope before it was too late. Meanwhile, Drew's world was crumbling. He had been in high spirits that morning, casually following Willow to a flu shot clinic where she was volunteering at a coat drive. But his good mood vanished when he received an alert on his phone: Aurora stock was plummeting. Panic set in as Drew realized the gravity of the situation. Without wasting a second, he rushed to Curtis's office, his mind racing with questions. "Curtis," Drew began, holding up his phone, "what the hell is going on?" Curtis leaned back in his chair, unbothered by Drew's frantic tone. "Take a breath, Drew," he said calmly. "It's not the end of the world." But Drew wasn't convinced. As he went over the stock numbers, something about Curtis's demeanor struck him as odd. Why wasn't he more concerned? And then it hit him, a chilling realization that made his stomach drop. "Curtis," Drew said slowly, his voice trembling with disbelief, Did you have something to do with this?" Curtis didn't deny it. Instead, he gave Drew a knowing look that sent shivers down his spine. In that moment, Drew understood the full extent of his mistake. He had been so focused on other things that he had let his guard down, allowing Michael and Curtis to sabotage him. The betrayal was devastating. Not only had Drew lost the trust of the Quartermaine family, but now he was on the brink of losing Aurora, the one thing he had left. And yet, amid all the chaos, Willow remained blissfully unaware. Her heart was set on spreading holiday cheer, completely oblivious to the tangled web of schemes and betrayals unfolding around her. But as Christmas approached, one thing became increasingly clear: the season of joy was shaping up to be anything but merry for those around her.